Hi people, just a quick one. You will see in the news recently there's a news article about Yellowstone National Park, which has a super volcano underneath of it, and what's happened is the world's tallest geyser, which is where all the water vapor from the from deeper down, but from the surface, and it erupts upward, the geysers. There's a lot of water being, oh, here's a video here, a lot of water steam released from these geysers, and as it says here, the news is reporting that it's erupted 3 times in the past 6 weeks. The latest eruption on April the 27th was about 10 times larger than the Old Faithful Geyser blast. The Old Faithful Geyser is the most active geyser that's right in the middle of the park. When you look at it from the webcam, this geyser is somewhere else. It says the last eruption before recent events was in 2014, so the last time it erupted was 4 years ago. So anyway, all the news channels were reporting the same story, but many people have trouble in believing in these things. But when it comes from the government or scientists, then I'm also wary. But I actually keep my own records every week and every day to do with the earthquakes. Keep volcano activity number, the Canary Islands, any earthquakes that happen on the Canary Islands, trumpet number 2, Yellowstone, and earthquakes in general, which is a daily thing that I keep a record of. So I went to my Yellowstone data, and for some reason what happens is I usually take these records on a weekend, and I usually do it on the Sabbath, but this weekend I decided to make the Sabbath a good Sabbath. I needed rest. I was really tired because I was working so hard, over 50 hours last week on ministry preparation work. So I really needed a rest and to recharge my batteries. So I really, did some gardening, did a lot of work, spending time with my family, kept it holy, but I really did rest from my work. So I didn't actually I took the readings on Sunday instead of Saturday, first day of the week. But what happened was I forgot to actually do the totals and then put them into a graph form, which what I do is, I'll show you now. Here you have the data. Let's just go to the top. So I take, let me just move myself across. I take readings from all these stations which are at Yellowstone. There's 14 of them. I take the readings for discharge, which is steam released, gauge height, which is the height of the body of water that the station's in, temperature being the surface temperature of the water, and conductance is the water's ability to conduct electricity. Now this makes it possible for earthquakes, because when it's like anything conducting a metal can conduct electrical energy. Wood can't, let's say, just to go to an extreme. So when the conductance goes up of Yellowstone, the possibility for earthquakes increases, because the earth itself, the water and everything, its reading of conductancy has just gone up. So if any energy spurt comes to the fault line, then boom, you get an earthquake. And I proved that in other videos. Now, so I add them all up and take an average, and as you can see here, the average for the different, like I said, discharge, gauge, temperature, and conductance, and then I put them into. Obviously, I do this every week, and I've been doing it since the 11th of the 10th, 2015. Every week. And there's obviously the list of data results, and then I have graphs. Now this is the discharge graph. I mean, this is the one we're looking at actually. Let me just cover the others. You can see here conductance. Actually, conductance fell dramatically this week. Even this week, conductance fell. The gauge height also jumped. As you can see here, last week, or let's say last 2 weeks, it had an average value of 2.55 right down here, and then it's jumped up this week to 3.71. So the body of water actually increased. That could be because of the heat, because when you mix heat with the water, it expands. But the actual temperature, well, you can see here, 3 weeks ago it had a real downturn when it was really cold. This is the reading, 8.03. I don't know if there was some sort of failure, but you can see the graph anyway. It's around 16.3, and then it drops down to this great low here of 8, and then in the last few weeks it's jumped back up to 16 again. Last week it had a massive jump to 20.5 temperature, and this week is not much less, so just around the average. Anyway, yeah, so they're the other graphs, but it's the discharge that we want to look at, and as you can see here, it has been consistently at this level, and it's taken a major jump. Now obviously this jump here, which was back in July 2017, it had this. Obviously, there must have been a lot of energy going on at that time. Maybe planets conjoining. I'm not too sure. I can always look back at that later on. But this video is just about the events the last week, and as you can see now, if I put my cursor over it, you'll see that the discharge was at 577 a week ago, 446, and it's jumped on the graph to 1590, nearly 1600. So it's gone from 577, almost 600, and it's jumped up to nearly 1600. 1600. We can be able to see this. I'll just zoom in a bit so it's easier for you to see. Here's the dates, 2 weeks and weeks. Obviously, let's go from the beginning of this month, 341. This is discharge, remember, steam. 341, 511, back down a little bit to 446. Up a little to 577, and then from 577 it took that massive leap up to pretty much 1600. I mean, that's a massive jump, that. So what the scientists are saying about Yellowstone, it is correct, and my data confirms it. Obviously this confirms one thing, that the scientists are telling the truth for once, and they're on the ball. And the physical act has happened. Obviously, the guys and people have noticed it. The second thing we can learn from this, or I can learn from this, is my data, as you can see, is very accurate and follows exactly what's going on. So even if the scientists start to begin to withhold truth from you about what's really going on, about the discharge, which I believe will happen, I don't believe they will say, oh, Yellowstone's going to blow because here's the readings, it's gone off the chart, the discharge, the temperature of the water has gone off the chart, something's happening under the surface. I don't believe they will tell the general public. I believe the government will probably make preparation secret underground facilities, let's say. But I don't believe they'll tell you the truth when the throne's going to pass over. I don't believe that. But you can always get the truth here. And like I said, my data is more than accurate. In fact, I've caught out times where they've changed data because there was a massive increase in the conductance, actually. And they didn't tell... what they did was they changed the data for, I don't know, about 6 months or so it was. And they gradually put this slope going all the way down because they didn't want to have to explain why this massive jump just happened in the conductance. It could have well been around here, I think, or there, where it jumped up massively in one event of some sort. Obviously the energy, the planets, whatever it was, made the planet just woof. And at this time, whenever it was, I think it was here, was a massive earthquake all across the west coast. It wasn't just, and I made an article about that, it wasn't just local to Yellowstone, it was the whole west coast just rocked with earthquakes. I'll put a link in for that so you can see, and I can see for myself as well, to remind me when it was. But they changed the data. So although they might be telling the truth now, they'll change data they don't want to get the general public scared. They want to keep them asleep, that nothing's happening, nothing's going to happen in our lifetime, and all this rubbish, when what makes us so special? It's happened in the past. It's happened with Canary Islands, where it's collapsed and sent a 100-meter wave up and sent sea shells up, hundreds of meters up one of the neighbouring volcanic islands there in the Canary Islands. So this happened before. We're just ignorant to think that it's not going to happen the Bible prophecy says it will. Like La Palma, I know I'm digressing, but La Palma being trumpet number 2. So I know it's coming, and you'll even know when it's coming, because the trumpet judgments happen as the throne of God, Neberu, is passing by Earth. So all these things are to come, and they're going to come all at once as well. Trumpet judgments, bang, bang, I'm not going to go into them, haven't got time. But I just wanted to give you an update that, yes, the scientists tell you the truth. Yes, there is activity at Yellowstone where the geysers are popping off. And it's showing on the data that there's been a 300% rise in the amount of steam that Yellowstone has given off in the last week. And another thing is, it proves my data right, so you can always come back here if you want to know the full truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much for watching anyway. I've been Pastor Justin Roberts from End of the Age Bible Prophecy. Please keep watching these signs. Please share this article with your friends, with your ministry, and with whoever you can, so we may look for the signs of his coming. So all these things will take place just before the throne comes. The earthquake, volcanoes, sinkholes, war outbreaks, and all these different things. God bless you all. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, Al-Masih Isa. God bless you all. Amen.